Welcome back. You're watching the Press Club. Before the break, I hinted at it that one of the stories that stuck out in my mind for me, for obvious reasons, and I guess you would share that too. The St. Mary's College is marking 125 years, having been established in April 1890. And more specifically, the month of May is being, a lot of activities are being launched in May because in the Catholic Church, which is the founding institution of the St. Mary's College, its focus in May is on Mary, and of course, obviously, St. Mary's College. We know what the connection there is. A number of activities are planned starting tomorrow with a mass, which I expect you will be attending as well. I will be there. I know a lot about our media colleagues who went to St. Mary's College will also be in attendance. That will be followed by a house meeting at the service. All St. Marians will be expected to wear armbands or ties in the colors of their houses. By the way, what house did you belong to?
But I've been red all my life.
Red?
Rodney.
Yeah, I'm an Abercrombie boy myself, so I'll be there with my blue tie and blue armband. But a number of activities are planned for the entire year 2015 spilling over into 2016 to mark this historic occasion. I was there for the 100th anniversary. I, of course, will not miss the 125th celebration. So we'll have this house meeting. One of the activities planned is a tuck shop tradition of fruit and cheese.
You know Mom's still alive?
Yes, I saw her recently at church actually, and she looks very
Folks,
good.
we're sorry about that. We're talking like college. We were talking about the lady who used to sell
in the tuck shop
the food to us in the tuck shop every day. We would separate our parents' sandwiches and things just to opt for her food. And old men like us, to discover that she's still around, it really means a lot to us. Go ahead.
Yeah, but
sorry.
Not just around. I think she looked very good. I did not recognize. I was surprised at how young Mom looks after all
She
these
drank
years.
from the water of eternal youth.
But you remember people like Anderson? Anderson was the caretaker. I don't know what became of him. I saw Paula, the church secretary, during my time at least, not so long ago. So a lot of people are still around.
In fact, during my time, St. Mary's College got its first female mistress.
Who was that?
No, it was her name was Miss Bodley, I remember. She had a brother named Trevor. She was either a teacher or the secretary to the principal, but we used to gather downstairs when she's climbing the steps. But go ahead, sorry.
That's a college tradition.
That's a college tradition.
An old college tradition. And you'd think by now they would have looked at
it's still going on.
Replacing those stairs, but they haven't. But the story of the St. Mary's College is a very interesting one. And I'm told that Dale Elliott of Untold Stories fame will be producing a special documentary in recognition of this milestone in the college's history. Those of you who don't know might be interested to find out that originally the college was in town, where the Parish Center is now located, long before moving over to VG. And even my time, the college has changed substantially or significantly from when I was there in terms of the buildings, the courses that are being offered, the opportunities the students have, embracing the technology. And one of the things that is planned for tomorrow, they want every college boy to donate $125, a minimum of $125 in recognition of the 125th anniversary. And that money will go towards the launch of an endowment fund. $125 representing the 125 years, of course. The establishment of a sustainable financing mechanism for current and future school maintenance and improvement projects, including 2 legacy projects. So hopefully all the college boys and the supporters of the college boys, and I'm saying by extension their families, wives and associates, will show up and show support for the educational institution, which has been doing very well over the years at CXC. The persons who make it there continue to perform very well at Sir Arthur Lewis, at university, in society generally. We produce 2 Nobel laureates, and we continue to produce leaders in a number of areas. Did our Prime Minister go to St. Mary's?
I don't know. I know he went to Vieux Fort. Yeah, he attended the Vieux Fort.
Yeah, but we produce a number of notable persons in the society. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow and the other activities that are planned. There's a major fruit and cheese and wine activity that's supposed to be attended. Or
how wine get in that?
Well, I guess the involvement of the Governor General might have been a powerful persuasion.
Cheese and wine. She's a cheese and wine lady.
Yeah, but it says that they'll be providing a number of cheeses, a variety of cheeses and delicacies in addition to the wine.
I plan to go.
Yeah.
I plan to go. I normally try to go to Mass on the first Sunday of every month with my granddaughter. So if and when I do go tomorrow, I'll be taking her along with me. I think it is a commendable initiative to coincide with the 125th anniversary of my old school. And I asked my mother to look for my tie for me, because I don't think I want to buy a tie for $50. And if my $125 is to be contributed tomorrow, I don't know whether you missed it or whether it's just not there. But I think, subject to correction, that there ought to be some sort of activity in commemoration of the contribution of the first St. Lucian principal of the college, Michael Mondesi, who is still alive, who is not seeing better days in his older age, who is confined to his bed or a wheelchair, or between chairs, wheelchair and bed, and we're not necessarily here talking about just the money contributing to his financial survivability, but more so who he is, rather than waiting to make him another one of those victims of our dead heroes society. He's still alive. I think every Sumerian tomorrow should at least get to hear his name, how long he served.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
What type of a person he is. And I'll say something there that will not be said, but I can say and I can attest, is that he was the founder of the St. Lucia Forum. Not necessarily George Odlum and Peter Josie, but Michael Mondesi. Those meetings, the initial meetings, took place under his chairmanship at his home at Sans Souci, where he still lives. That is where the St. Lucia Forum was born. And the thing about the Forum, it is the only political grouping that seemed to have been unintentionally mainly attracting Sumerians. St. Lucians of an intellectual capacity that looked beyond the traditional Labour and UWP politics and tried to introduce new aspects and new visions of politics. So the forum's philosophy basically included trying to get St. Lucians to embrace the concept of Kudme, which has its roots, which the Forum traced as having its African roots and being part of our African heritage, the ability of communities to help each other and to grow together. Another Sumerian, Hunter Francois, who broke with the traditional parties, both the UWP and Labour. He wrote a book, again, promoting a new and different approach to our politics, where he was advocating not a one-party state or a multi-party state, but a no-party state. Hunter Francois has a book written with what he indicated was a formula for a no-party state. Now, that doesn't exist anywhere in the world that we know of, but we have a St. Lucian who has put a formula on the table, and he was a Sumerian. So, you know, all the tuck shop things, going back to history and so on, I like all of that. All of that is nice, but we need to let St. Lucians know that, good as it is, so Arthur Lewis and Honorable Derek Walcott are not and were not the only two illuminated examples of what I'm sure SMC has produced.
I'm sure those persons that you mentioned and others will be highlighted. I don't see a 125th anniversary celebration spanning a year
That's why I say it's either there and we missed it, or there's so much that's going to happen that
let's face it, there is a lot that's going to happen, and I'm suspecting that Dale will probably focus on...
What about fellas? I don't know, do they still have the gym and the detention center? Do they still have caning?
No, I think the gym, unfortunately, has been transformed into classrooms.
Classrooms. So there's no caning, no the corporal, how do they call it? Is it corporal punishment?
I don't know about the caning.
There's none of that anymore. The politics of the college now is about rights, human rights, to wear locks, you know. Yeah. But in my days, folks, let me tell you, I never completed any such of the records at college will show that I never completed my period. But there was a time when I became immune from corporal punishment. There were a couple of us, myself, Herman Gill Francis, Munir Tommy, better known as Fancy. We used to get caned every single day. We would get detained, we'd have to stay after. After having got caned, we'd have to go down in the gym every single day and do extra homework and so on. It never had the intended effect of turning us into better boys. You know, we all, went on. When it came to outgoes in, we were the rough guys who, you miss the ball, you take the man. In football, we play outgoes in cricket, you jump on a guy to get the ball. We were oblivious to the pain. And today, I'm sure today when we hear discussion about corporal punishment being cruelty, and the things that, the way in which corporal punishment is being referred to today by people who I suspect never, never went through it at school is quite different to the way it played out in our days. And I'm not here saying that it was good or that it made us better. I'm saying that it did not have the intended effect of turning us into better college boys.
One of the things that they have planned is, speaking of better college boys, an entertainment night focusing on some of the artists who have come out of college. So you have people like Rowan Sion, the current principal, who a lot of people might still not know.
He can write calypsos, but he just can't sing.
Calypso composer, and he has written for a number of people. Guy Love Dance. I don't know how many people remember that he wrote that one. He's been writing for the Mighty Pep. Mr. Brett, as we knew him back then, he was my math teacher while I was at college. Now the district representative for Canries Ancillary. You might have seen him during the budget debate. I have some fond memories of him. At college, which I wouldn't share on TV because they likely will embarrass.
I have some fun memories.
But
I have some fun memories with guys who emerged in the forefront of the Rastafari movement. Choco, Zox, David, so many of us back then. With our college background, we were regarded as shameful. College boys putting locks, smoking marijuana, and we were set upon. Because of my name and my job, I was not necessarily as much a victim as others who did not have surnames that were recognizable like mine. But I was included because there were well-to-do citizens who would call my father and tell him, do something about me, Buske, being out there with locks, to the extent that one time he asked me to choose, whether I'm going to live at his home or not, and we worked that out, eventually. But the pressure was being brought to bear on college boys who ended up in the forefront of the Rastafari movement. And it would be interesting, to look at the various subcultures, the various other tentacles, that word again, beyond just, academics, in terms of what the college produced. You just talked about the musicians. The college's contribution to culture. The college's contribution to sport is widely known. I don't know if they still have the SMC annual games, Junior Victor Lord Durham and Senior Victor Lord Durham, and pole vault and all of that. They have lawn tennis. They have lawn tennis courts there, but in the back we saw football and cricket field that was never.
I think those are still there. Those are still there.
Those are still there.
Likely still being used. I was up there not too
There's
long
another
ago.
interesting point you made in terms of the contribution of St. Mary's College to the other educational and tertiary institutions, because the Sumerians move on to those other colleges and excel. There's a story in The Voice today of a St. Lucian student. I'm not sure which school, but here you have a St. Lucian computer creation was a hit in California, where a St. Lucian has created a computer tool that is proving value added to employees across United Technology Corporation Aerospace Systems based in Chula Vista, California. That's one. As to whether the guy, his name is Barney Charles, and is pictured with an infographic detailing an innovative labor-saving tool he developed this year. And that is on page 11 of today's Voice. There was another big news item that didn't sufficiently make the news last week, and that was the fact that one of the prizes coming from, one of the projects coming from the last annual school science fair, won a big prize and got a big place on an international science and technology stage. A fair, yeah, and it was, I saw it, referred to in a news item somewhere. But if you get in touch with Motilal Singh, the curriculum development, it must have been a radio or TV station, because I remember him, seeing a smile on his face. Now, whether these young persons have been to the college or not, in cases where they did, the college could, perhaps, if they haven't thought about it, coming up with a document of achievers, in this century. In terms of these young achievers.
I think I read something there about that at some point tomorrow, perhaps in the city circuit or maybe in the square, there's going to be a display of outstanding students from the current batch, stretching back over the 125 years. I'm not sure.
No, or was it that, I think what I saw was that students had taken their projects to Jazz on the Square. To Jazz on the Square.
It says the public will savor the inventive tales of Sumerians through the decades, topped with some specially brewed insights of now renowned Sumerians. Yeah, something like that. It will also include some sidewalk displays.
I'm hoping that it comes up to this century, the last 15 years, because an increasing number of St. Lucians, men and women, boys and girls, are exceeding in the areas of science and technology. Now, at the national level, there's concern about the fact that not sufficient numbers of students are embracing science. But those who do are doing well on the world stage. There's a St. Lucian woman who is a big star at NASA. Here you have this guy. The First National Bank has a calendar with at least 12 achievers in areas of education and science and technology abroad. We need to look at the last 15 years. I think, not without any prejudice to the contributions of Sumerians in the 20th century. I think so far in the 21st century, the best way I could say it is that so far in the 21st century, the Sumerians who have achieved have brought the 21st century face to achievements.
An appropriate way to end. We are out of time, unfortunately, but always an interesting program, Mr. Buski. Always a pleasure having you here. Always a pleasure having you watching as well. Continue watching. We'll be back next week where we'll look at another batch of stories.
You know what we didn't touch this week quickly? But we run out of time. The budget. Yeah, folks.
A lot was said in the budget that I'm sure will still be relevant next week. Yeah, so we'll be talking about that then. We'll see you then.
I almost Rick's still watching me and